The city of Willowfield was known for its calm streets and peaceful people. Birds sang every morning, children played in the park, and life moved slowly like a soft dream. But one ordinary day, that dream began to break. The sky turned gray. Clouds gathered like soldiers ready for battle. No one knew what was coming, not even Arya, a 19-year-old girl who lived in a small house at the edge of town with her little brother, Leo. Arya was kind, quiet, and full of hope. She loved painting sunsets and writing small poems about peace. She believed the world was a beautiful place until the day everything changed. That morning, she was preparing breakfast when a loud sound shook the windows. Boom! The cups on the table fell. Leo screamed and ran to her. Arya! What was that? He cried. I don't know, she said, holding him tightly. They ran outside, and what they saw froze their hearts. Black smoke rose from the city center. People were shouting, running in every direction. Cars were abandoned on the road. Somewhere in the distance, sirens wailed. Arya's neighbor, Mr. Jordan, yelled, "It's an attack. They've started bombing the city." The words didn't make sense. An attack? On Willowfield? It was impossible. But the sky didn't lie. Fire burned in the distance, and planes flew overhead, dropping more explosives. Arya grabbed Leo's hand and pulled him inside. "Pack your bag, Leo. We have to go." In just a few minutes, everything became chaos. The radio kept repeating. All citizens must evacuate immediately. Go toward the eastern border. Do not stay in the city. Arya looked around the small house, the same house their parents had built before they passed away. Every corner held a memory, her mother's old books, her father's broken guitar, Leo's toys on the floor. She felt a sharp pain in her chest. "We can't leave everything," she whispered. But Leo looked up with scared eyes. "Arya, please, let's go." Her heart broke, but she nodded. "Okay. We'll come back. I promise." Outside, the world had changed. Shops were broken, glass covered the ground, and the air smelled of smoke. People were pushing, crying, shouting for help. Arya and Leo joined a group moving toward the main road. An old woman stumbled. Arya stopped to help her. "Hold my arm, Grandma. I won't let you fall," she said. Even in the middle of chaos, she couldn't ignore someone in need. The woman smiled weakly, whispering, "You have a kind heart, child. The world still has hope if people like you exist." Those words stayed with Arya, though she didn't know how much they would mean later. As they reached the bus station, they saw soldiers helping people board trucks. A young officer shouted, "We'll take you to the Eastern Valley, it's safe there." But the trucks were already full. "Please, take my brother," Arya begged. The soldier shook his head. "No space left. Wait for the next one." Minutes turned to hours, and the next one never came. The sounds of explosions grew louder. Leo started crying. "I'm scared, Arya." She hugged him tightly. "I'm here. Nothing will happen to you. We'll find another way." Night fell, and the city glowed red from fire. Arya decided to walk east on foot. Many others were doing the same. Every few minutes, the ground trembled from distant blasts. They crossed a half-destroyed bridge, where they saw a small boy sitting alone, crying. "Where's your family?" Arya asked. He just shook his head. Arya wanted to take him, but Leo whispered, "Arya, we can't, we don't have food." She looked at both of them, her brother, tired and afraid, and the lost boy, helpless and alone. Then she did what her heart told her. "Come with us," she said to the boy. "You're safe now." Leo didn't argue. He knew his sister. She could never walk away from someone in pain. As they continued walking, rain began to fall, heavy and cold. The children shivered, But Arya kept going, leading them through the darkness. Every step felt heavier, every sound made her heart jump. Then, far in the distance, she saw a small house with a weak light shining from inside. "Look," she said. "We'll rest there." They ran toward it and knocked on the door. After a moment, an old man opened it, holding a lantern. His face was kind but tired. "What are you doing out here, kids?" he asked. "There was bombing, we lost our home," Arya replied softly. He looked at them for a moment, then opened the door wider. "Come in, quick. It's not safe outside." Inside, the house was small but warm. The old man gave them blankets and bread. "You can stay tonight," he said. "But tomorrow, you must move before sunrise. Soldiers patrol this area." Arya nodded gratefully. When the children finally slept, she sat by the window, staring at the burning city far away. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she whispered, "Why is this happening? We never hurt anyone." The old man placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Child," he said quietly, "sometimes wars don't start with weapons, they start with hearts full of greed." Arya looked at him, her eyes full of sorrow. That night, she made a silent promise. She would protect her brother, no matter what. She didn't know that this was only the beginning. The unexpected war had just started and it was going to change her life forever. The next morning came quietly. The rain had stopped, but the air still smelled of smoke and dust. Arya opened her eyes and saw Leo and the little boy sleeping beside her on the wooden floor. The old man, their kind host, was already awake. He sat near the fire, boiling water in a small pot. "You should leave soon," he said softly when he saw her awake. "The soldiers may come this way today. The Eastern Valley is your only chance." Arya nodded. "Thank you, for saving us." The old man smiled weakly. "Just remember, kindness keeps the world alive. Even in war." Before leaving, Arya tore a small piece of paper from her notebook. She wrote, "Thank you for giving us hope." She left it on the table and quietly stepped outside with Leo and the little boy, whose name they had learned was Sam. The road ahead looked endless: broken houses, burned cars, and silent streets covered in ash. The morning sun was pale and cold. Every few steps, they saw signs of how fast peace had died. Leo held Arya's hand tightly. "Do you think our house is gone?" he asked. Arya didn't answer at first. She looked at him and forced a smile. "No, Leo. Our house still stands in our hearts. One day we'll build another." Her voice was calm, but her heart ached. As the hours passed, they reached the countryside. The city's smoke faded behind them, replaced by open fields and scattered trees. It was quiet now, too quiet. No laughter, no cars, no people. Sam suddenly stopped walking. "My feet hurt," he said softly. "Can we rest a little?" Arya looked around. There was a small barn nearby, half destroyed but still standing. "Okay," she said. "We'll rest there." Inside the barn, the air smelled of hay and dust. They sat down on old blankets. Leo looked at Sam and smiled. "Don't worry. Arya always finds a way." Sam smiled back for the first time. "You're lucky to have a sister like her." Arya looked at both of them, tired, hungry, and innocent, and whispered to herself, "I have to keep going. For them." As evening came, the sound of engines echoed from the road. Arya peeked through a hole in the wooden wall and saw military trucks moving fast. Soldiers were shouting orders. Her heart began to race. "Quick! Lie down, both of you. Don't make a sound." They hid behind a pile of hay. The soldiers stopped near the barn, their voices loud and harsh. One soldier said, "Check inside. No one should be hiding here." Arya's pulse pounded in her ears. She hugged Leo and Sam tightly. Footsteps came closer. And then silence. For a few long seconds, she didn't breathe. Then a voice outside shouted, "It's empty. Let's move." The trucks drove away. Arya let out a shaky breath and whispered, "Thank God." Leo's eyes filled with tears. "I thought they'd find us." Arya kissed his forehead. "As long as we're together, we'll be fine." The next morning, the journey continued. They walked through empty villages and muddy roads. Sometimes strangers offered them bread or water, sometimes doors closed as soon as people saw them, afraid to share what little they had. But Arya never complained. She gave her food to the boys first, drinking only when they insisted. At sunset, they reached a river that cut through the valley. The bridge was broken, half fallen into the water. "How will we cross?" Leo asked. Arya stared at the gap. The water below was wild and fast. "We'll have to go one by one, carefully." She helped Leo first, then Sam. The wood creaked under their weight, but somehow they made it across. When they reached the other side, Leo hugged her tightly. "You're brave, Arya." She smiled faintly. "I'm just doing what I have to." That night, they found a small campfire near the woods. 2 women and an old man were already sitting there. When Arya approached carefully, the old man said, "You can sit. The fire's for everyone." They sat down. The flames warmed their frozen hands. The women shared a piece of bread. The old man began to talk in a quiet voice. "People are fleeing from every direction. The eastern valley might be safe, but it's far. The soldiers guard the main road. You must take the mountain path." Arya listened carefully. "The mountain path?" she asked. "Isn't that dangerous?" He nodded. "Yes. But it's your best chance." Later that night, as the stars appeared, Leo and Sam slept beside her. Arya stayed awake, watching the fire burn low. Her mind was full of questions. Where were they going? Would they ever have a home again? She looked at her brother's peaceful face and whispered, "I'll take you there, Leo. No matter what." Suddenly, she heard distant thunder, not from the sky, but from the ground. Boom. 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 She stood up quickly. In the distance, lights flashed near the horizon. The war was spreading again. The old man woke up. "They're bombing another town," he said. "It's coming this way." Arya grabbed her small bag, shook the boys awake, and said firmly, "We have to leave now." They started climbing the narrow mountain trail in the dark. Wind howled through the trees, and the earth shook beneath their feet. Every explosion behind them reminded them of what they'd lost and what they still had to protect. Leo was crying silently. Sam was too tired to walk, so Arya carried him for a while. Her legs hurt, but she didn't stop. When dawn finally broke, they reached the top of the hill. Below them lay a wide green valley, calm and untouched by war for now. Arya looked at it, tears in her eyes. "That's the east," she whispered. "That's hope." But deep down, she knew their journey wasn't over. The war wasn't just around them, it was inside every heart that had lost something. And soon, she would learn that reaching safety was only the beginning of another battle. The eastern valley was beautiful. Green fields stretched for miles. Birds flew in the early morning sun. The river sparkled like silver. For the first time in days, Arya felt a small breath of relief. Leo and Sam ran ahead, laughing quietly for the first time since the war began. Arya smiled softly. She had carried them through chaos, fear, and danger, and now, for a moment, peace seemed possible. But Arya knew better. The valley was calm now, but danger could come anytime. Her heart remained alert. As they walked deeper into the valley, they noticed smoke in the distance. Arya's brow furrowed. "That can't be good," she muttered. They approached carefully. Hidden behind a hill, They saw a small village. The buildings were simple, but the smoke rising from one of the houses made Arya uneasy. Suddenly, a voice called out. "Who's there? Show yourselves." Arya froze. 3 men appeared from the shadows, armed with rifles. Their eyes were hard, suspicious. Arya stepped forward slowly. "Please, we are just travelers. We mean no harm." The men didn't lower their weapons. One of them, taller than the others, stepped closer. His eyes softened slightly as he looked at Leo and Sam. "You have children with you?" he asked. "Yes," Arya replied. "I am responsible for them. Please, we are looking for shelter." The man hesitated. Then, surprisingly, he nodded. "Follow me." The stranger led them to a small cottage at the edge of the village. Inside, it was warm and safe. A fire burned in the hearth. The man, whose name was Elias, gave them blankets and water. "Eat," he said gently. "You need strength for the road ahead." Arya noticed the kindness in his eyes. He could have left them in the valley, alone and vulnerable, but he didn't. Over a small meal, she asked, "Are you part of the soldiers?" Elias shook his head. "No, I left the army years ago. I live here in peace. But I've seen too much of war. That's why I help those in need." Arya's heart felt heavy. She understood. He had seen pain perhaps more than anyone could imagine and still chose kindness. That night, as they slept, Arya heard a soft knock on the door. Elias was outside, holding a small lantern. "I want to warn you," he said quietly. "The valley seems safe, but soldiers have been moving closer. You must leave before noon." Arya nodded. She didn't need more warning. The war was never far behind. But as they prepared to leave, Sam whispered, "I don't want to go." Leo added, "Can we stay just one more night?" Arya hugged them both. "I know, but we can't. Safety is more important than comfort. I promise, one day we will return." The journey resumed at dawn. The valley was peaceful now, but the trail was not easy. Rocky paths, rushing streams, and dense forests slowed them down. At one point, a wild animal appeared, a wolf, its eyes glowing in the morning mist. Leo froze. Sam whimpered. Arya stepped forward, holding a stick in front of her. "Stay behind me," she whispered. The wolf growled, circling them slowly. Then, unexpectedly, Elias appeared from the trees, shouting. The wolf growled once more but ran away. Arya exhaled deeply. "Thank you," she said, tears in her eyes. Elias nodded. "You are brave, but courage alone is not enough. Trust and help from others keep you alive." As they walked, they came across an abandoned farm. Arya saw a small garden, with vegetables growing despite the war. She smiled faintly. "Even in destruction, life finds a way," she said. Leo picked up a small carrot. "Look. We can eat this." Sam laughed, brushing dirt off his hands. For a moment, the fear and hunger of the past days faded. Arya looked at them and realized that these small moments, small gifts of life, were worth everything. By late afternoon, they reached the edge of the valley. Before them stretched a wide forest. Arya could see soldiers in the distance, patrolling the main road. There was no way through the city anymore. "We have to go through the forest," she said firmly. "It's risky, but it's our only way." Elias looked at her. "It will be dangerous. You might get lost, or worse, be caught." Arya shook her head. "We don't have a choice. Come with us if you want. But we have to move." Elias smiled faintly. "I will stay behind. But you have a gift, Arya. You can guide them and protect them. Trust yourself." As night fell, they entered the forest. The moonlight barely lit their path. Branches scratched their faces. Strange noises surrounded them. Every rustle of leaves made Leo cry out. But Arya never stopped. She carried Sam on her back when he grew tired, held Leo's hand tightly, and whispered words of encouragement. "Keep going. We are almost there. We can do this." Hours passed. Exhaustion set in, but her determination never wavered. And then, as the first light of dawn broke through the trees, Arya saw it, a small, hidden valley beyond the forest, untouched by war. She whispered to herself, "We made it, we're safe, for now." But even as relief washed over her, Arya knew the world was not yet free of danger. The war followed them, and survival was only the first step. Somewhere, hidden in the shadows, the next challenge awaited. The hidden valley was quiet, almost magical. Green hills rolled in every direction. A small river curved like a silver ribbon. Birds sang above the trees. For the first time, Arya felt a sense of calm, a fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, the worst was behind them. Leo and Sam ran ahead, laughing and chasing each other through the grass. Arya followed slowly, carrying her small bag and keeping her eyes on the surrounding forest. She couldn't trust this calm completely. The war had taught her that danger could appear at any moment. As they walked, Arya noticed something unusual. Smoke rose from behind a hill, not dark or thick like the city fires, but thin and gentle, almost like chimney smoke. Someone lived here. She approached cautiously, holding Leo's hand. Sam stayed close behind. At the edge of the hill, they saw the village, a cluster of small wooden cottages, surrounded by fences and gardens. Children played outside, and women hung laundry in the sun. It looked peaceful, like a place frozen in time. Arya's heart lifted. Could this be their safe place? When they entered the village, people stopped and stared. It was clear they were strangers, tired, dirty, and scared. A woman approached them, her eyes soft but wary. "Who are you?" she asked gently. Arya stepped forward. "My name is Arya. These are my brother, Leo, and our friend, Sam. We are running from the war. Please, we need shelter." The woman looked at them carefully. Then, without a word, she turned and led them to a small cottage at the edge of the village. Inside, the family, a mother, father, and 2 children, gave them blankets and food. For the first time in days, Arya and the boys felt warmth, both from the fire and from the kindness of strangers. That night, as they ate quietly, Arya asked, "Is this village safe? Will the soldiers come here?" The father shook his head. "Not many know about us. The mountains hide this place. Few soldiers ever pass through. But, war is unpredictable. You must be careful." Arya nodded. She understood. Safety was temporary, and trust was fragile. Leo and Sam slept peacefully that night, but Arya could not. She sat by the window, watching the stars. Memories of burned cities and screaming children haunted her. She whispered softly, "I hope we can stay here, at least for a little while." The next morning, the village welcomed them cautiously. Arya helped in small ways, fetching water from the river, gathering firewood, and helping the children with their chores. For the first time, she felt useful again. It was more than survival, it was life. But even here, the shadow of war lingered. Strange noises from the forest, distant echoes of explosions, and travelers passing with fearful eyes reminded everyone that danger was never far. A week passed. Arya, Leo, and Sam began to adjust. They learned the village paths, helped in gardens, and shared stories with the villagers. Arya felt a faint hope growing in her heart, hope that they might finally live without fear. Then one evening, a stranger arrived. He was tall, with a long coat and a hood covering his face. He carried a small bag and moved silently. The villagers immediately stopped what they were doing. Arya felt a chill. There was something about him, something familiar. The stranger approached slowly, his eyes scanning the village. Finally, he stopped in front of Arya. "You are Arya," he said quietly. She stepped back, startled. "Yes, who are you?" "I know what you have been through," he replied. "And I can help you, if you trust me." Arya looked at him closely. There was no weapon, only calm in his eyes. Yet, she could feel the weight of the world in his presence. "Why should I trust you?" she asked. He smiled faintly. "Because I was once like you, running, searching for safety. And because I know something important, something that could change your life forever." That night, Arya couldn't sleep. She thought about the stranger, the valley, and the war chasing them. Could she trust him? Could anyone be trusted anymore? Leo and Sam slept quietly beside her, unaware of the fears gnawing at her heart. Arya whispered to herself, "I have to protect them, no matter what. Even if it means taking risks I don't understand." She didn't yet know it, but the stranger would soon reveal secrets about the war, the hidden valley, and a promise from the past, a promise that could give her more than safety. For now, the valley was a shelter. Tomorrow, it might become the beginning of a new journey, one that would test her courage, her heart, and her trust. And somewhere in the shadows, the war waited, ready to reach even this hidden village. Morning came quietly to the hidden village. The sun painted golden streaks across the hills, and the river glimmered like silver. For the first time in days, maybe weeks, Arya felt a calm that made her chest ache with relief. Leo and Sam ran ahead, laughing as if the world was safe again. Arya followed, carrying her small bag, watching the children with a protective heart. But the stranger from the night before, the one who had appeared quietly at the edge of the village, had stayed. His name, he finally told them, was Harold. "Arya," Harold said gently, "you are stronger than you know. But strength is not enough. To survive the war and protect those you love, you must make choices that test your courage and your heart." Arya looked into his calm eyes, feeling both fear and hope. "What do you mean?" she asked. Harold knelt down to her level. "I've seen your kindness, Arya. How you helped strangers, protected your brother, and carried a child through danger. The war has taken many things, but it hasn't taken your heart. That heart can change lives, starting here, in this village." Arya's eyes widened. "Change lives? How?" Harold reached into his coat and pulled out a small, folded envelope. "This is for you. Inside, there is a key and a letter. It may seem small, but it holds a chance, a promise of hope. Use it wisely." Curious, Arya opened the envelope. Inside was a key and a note written in careful handwriting. "For the one who shows courage and kindness. This key opens a place where hope can grow. Build, heal, and protect. The world needs people like you." Arya held the key tightly, her hands shaking. She looked at Leo and Sam, and then at Harold. "But, where is this place?" she asked. Harold smiled softly. "It is not far from here. A small clinic, abandoned after the first attacks. You can make it a safe place for those who are hurt, lost, or scared, just as you have been. It is yours to rebuild. Yours to care for." Arya felt tears fill her eyes. Her chest ached, not with fear this time, but with hope. For the first time, she felt like she could fight back against the darkness. The next days were filled with hard work. Arya, Leo, and Sam, guided by Harold, traveled to the abandoned clinic. The building was old, windows broken, doors barely hanging on their hinges. Dust covered the floors. The garden had withered into weeds. But Arya didn't see ruins. She saw possibility. She cleaned, repaired, and cleared the land. She planted vegetables and flowers. She fixed broken doors and patched windows. Every action, no matter how small, felt like a rebellion against the war, a statement that life and kindness would survive. Villagers from the hidden valley came to help. Some brought food, others offered tools. Harold taught her simple ways to care for the sick and injured. Slowly, the clinic began to feel alive. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, a wounded man arrived at the clinic. Arya treated him with care, bandaging his wounds and offering him food. He looked around, amazed at the effort and love that had gone into rebuilding the place. This is incredible," he whispered. "Who built this?" Arya smiled softly. "We all did. But we are just beginning." The man nodded. "Then hope is still alive. People like you, they give the world a chance." Leo and Sam watched her, proud and inspired. For once, Arya didn't have to carry the burden alone. Together, they were creating a safe world, one small act of kindness at a time. Weeks passed, and the clinic became a symbol of hope. Villagers brought the sick and injured. Children learned to play safely in the garden. People who had lost everything found comfort here. Arya often stood by the river, holding the key Harold had given her. She thought of the long journey, the chaos of the city, the long road east, the forest, and the hidden village. Every step, every danger, every tear had led her here. One afternoon, Harold approached. "You have done more than I imagined," he said. "This place will grow because of you. And one day, it will help thousands." Arya smiled, her heart full. "I never thought a small act could lead to this. But now I see, kindness matters. It can change everything." As the sun set, Arya looked at the valley. Leo and Sam played nearby, laughing without fear. The clinic stood strong, a symbol of life amidst destruction. She whispered softly, as if promising to herself and the world, "I will protect this hope. No matter what comes. This is our home, our life, our promise." And somewhere, far beyond the hills, the war still raged. But for Arya, Leo, Sam, and the villagers of the hidden valley, there was a future filled with courage, love, and hope, a future that no war could take away. The key in her hand was more than metal. It was a reminder that even in the darkest times, one heart, one act of kindness, could light the world. And Arya knew, deep inside, that their story had only just begun.